It's time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. Fairly uneventful fall weather will continue. The remarkably dry weather pattern across the continental U.S. through the end of the work week. A pair of fast-moving but fairly moisture-starved frontal systems will progress across the country with limited changes resulting in above to well above average warm temperatures, mainly across the southern plains. Near-record heat expands from the Great Southern Plains into the lower Mississippi and central Gulf Coast states. Closer to home, dry, warmer-than-average temperatures and light winds will persist through the weekend before our next weather maker arrives early next week. Breezy to windy conditions will be the main impact Monday and especially Tuesday, but rain chances continue to look bleak. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. 27-year-old Dominic Cruz de la O of Alamogordo appeared in federal court on Wednesday on a charge of possession of an unregistered weapon made from a shotgun. De la O has been accused of shooting and killing Alamogordo police officer Anthony Ferguson during a traffic stop in July of 2023. He used a sawed-off 12-gauge shotgun and is going to remain in detention until his hearing on February 22nd. 32-year-old Jonah Apodaca has been charged with providing the modified shotgun to De La O. He received a 72-month federal prison sentence for providing De La O with that shotgun. We heard from Mayor Susan Payne.
I'd like to say I hope he learned his lesson from that, but unfortunately I'm not 1,000% optimistic.
De La O's murder trial begins on November 4th at the courthouse in Alamogordo. 30-year-old Fulton Potter of Mescalero is going to spend the next 64 months in federal prison for strangling his wife. That happened on November 24th of 2023. There is no parole in the federal system. He was initially facing 10 years, but he pled his way down to 5 1/3. Upon his release from prison, Potter is going to remain subject to 3 years of supervised release. As a reminder, the Zubu takes place this weekend. The adult costume 3-mile fun run and walk. That's happening Saturday at 7:30 a.m., $35 to register. The Costume Kids Mile Fun Run Walk is also happening on Saturday. That kicks off at 8:30, $17 to register. Racers are going to receive a Zubu shirt and awards for first, second, and third place. Also, the Candy Trail and Costume Contest open up at 9 a.m. All this is at Alameda Park Zoo. Kids Can is an organization that works with kids from age 6 all the way to seniors in high school and teaches about entrepreneurship. They have a presence in Mescalero, but they're coming to Alamogordo for a day with the Lead Lab. I spoke with Irma Valdez.
The same material, it's just compressed down into one day. That would be that Saturday. We teach them. We make almost like a business plan from the start to the finish, and that's what this Lead Lab is.
That's at the Alamogordo Public Library, Saturday, October 26th from 1 until 4. Check out the library website, or you can look up Kids Can on Facebook for more details. Christ Community Church presents Hallelujah Night. I spoke with Patty.
Lots of trunk or treats. We're going to have games this year. We've added games for the kids, like a little pony race. There's a Ring the Scarecrow. Then we'll have hot dogs and chips and then bouncy houses. We're going to have prayer warriors all over, walking the campus, and we'll have a prayer tent where you can actually stop and get prayer for yourself. So I'd love to have you come out and join us. It's on October 27th. 68, right here in our Christ Community Church parking lot.
The event is free. The Christ Community Church Alamogordo Facebook page has more details. Kitty City will be at the mall this Saturday along with Animal Control.
Come to the White Sands Mall Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Kitty City and Alamogordo Animal Control will have both cats and dogs available for adoption.
Kathy Denton from Kitty City. The Kitty City, New Mexico Facebook page has details. The website has profiles of available cats. Listen up, boys and ghouls. All are invited to stop by the Alamogordo Fire Department fire stations on Halloween night between 5 and 8. Bring your trick-or-treat pumpkin pails and collect some candy and goodies. That's Fire Station 1, 619 Texas, Fire Station 5, 1492 South Florida, and Fire Station 6, 3100 North Florida. Dungan Volunteer Fire Department presents a pancake breakfast. They're honored to serve the Alamogordo community, and the station's going to be open so you can see what it takes to become a structural wildland firefighter or EMS. That's happening on Saturday, October 26th from 7 until noon, 32 Crestwood Drive. Donations will be accepted. In addition to Zoo Boo this Saturday, the zoo is also hosting Halloween night. You're invited to join the zoo for trick-or-treating on Halloween night, which is Thursday, October 31st. Bring the whole family for a howling good time filled with candy, costumes, and critters. Come dressed in your best costume and get ready for a spooky adventure at the zoo. Well, today is Thursday. It's time to hear from our good friend, Pastor Lauren Noble, and his Thursday Thought.
Good morning, 95.1 listeners. This is Pastor Lauren with our Thursday Thought. The other night I was sitting in a recovery meeting and this fellow came in and he looked at me and he said, "Hey, I remember you." And I had to say to myself, I didn't say to him, I thought, well, I don't remember you. But he said, "You were in this meeting when I first came in 2008. He said, "And shortly after that you left." And I said, "Yes." I said, "I went down to New Mexico and so I left about beginning of 2009. He said, "Well, I made it for a little while and then I relapsed and it took me 8 years to get back here." And he said, "I feel really stupid about that." And I said, "You know, you should be really happy that you made it back here, because some people with their alcohol and drug addictions never even get into recovery. And if they relapse, sometimes they don't make it back." I said, "So the fact that you're here after 8 years of relapse is really something to be happy about and proud of, and just get started over again and get to moving on forward in life and doing what you need to do." And, you know, I look at that sometimes and think, you know, they tell me when they come in that nothing out there has changed, and I'm like, well, then there's no reason for me to go back. It still sucks as bad as it used to. But anyway, I was really happy that he made it back. But I encourage people, if you did relapse, you know, don't feel bad about going back to the meeting. By all means, get there, because some people don't have the opportunity to do that. And there's always somebody there at the meeting that can say, "Hey, you know what? I relapsed too. I know exactly where you're at, so let's get going again." Anyway, let me say a prayer for us. Lord, I do thank you for the ones that make it into recovery and the ones that relapse and even make it back, because what a wonderful thing that is. And probably most of us in recovery wouldn't have a place to judge because we relapsed ourselves once or twice or several times before. And I just thank you for those that make it back and pray for those who don't. Amen. Until we meet up again on the airwaves, blessings to you.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives, from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Local sports, local events, and local happenings and more. Nonprofit owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.org. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
When you're high, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
A Las Cruces jury found 60-year-old Antonio Alamo Medina guilty of 2 counts of criminal sexual contact of a child under 13 and 1 count of attempt to commit criminal sexual contact of a child under 13. Sunland Park police were called out by the child's father, and the child told staff at an advocacy center that Medina had involved her in several incidents of sexual contact. It all began when she was in elementary school and lasted for about 5 years. Medina faces at least 3 years in prison and at most 22 and a half. His sentencing will occur at a later date. The search continues for a driver accused of hitting and killing a City of Santa Fe employee, 43-year-old Monique Maes. That happened last week. Maes was on a walk with her children when she was struck. She was born and raised in Santa Fe and worked for the city for 24 years. She had the option to retire soon, and her family said she was looking forward to spending more time with her children. Santa Fe County Sheriff Aiden Mendoza says 29-year-old Mario Israel Mendez was behind the wheel. Deputies found his damaged SUV just north of the crash scene, but no sign of Mendez. That manhunt continues. The cleanup process continues in Roswell following the historic floods of this past weekend. The city lost 4 fire trucks rescuing people, and at least 400 houses are extremely damaged, and a couple hundred businesses as well. It's believed the number of those damaged buildings will continue to rise. City officials are still trying to figure out how much money and time it's going to take to complete the process. Early estimates suggest it's nearing $500 million. On Monday, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham issued a state of emergency and unlocked $1 million in the state fund to assist Roswell with recovery efforts, which I don't think is going to scratch the surface. And Roswell does not have that kind of money dog-eared for this kind of catastrophe. Mayor Tim Jennings spoke with KOAT.
FEMA will start having people go door to door in the areas to give people their rights and everything. Contact your local insurance companies first. Keep all your data that you have together on all your property damage.
The New Mexico Office of Superintendent of Insurance issued an emergency order to protect access to insurance as Chaves County recovers from destructive flooding. Over 500 people were rescued, and there are now 3 confirmed deaths. Stephen Moreno was arrested on Tuesday, accused of shoplifting in Walmarts in Gallup, Grants, Bernalillo, and Albuquerque. Surveillance footage shows Moreno replacing the barcodes to make items much cheaper. Was it food or other necessities that drove him to do this? No. He was only after one thing: sports trading cards. John Duran, the Director of Special Prosecutions with the New Mexico Department of Justice, spoke with KRQE.
What it appeared as though on the surveillance camera he was doing was getting the merchandise that he would want, and then just basically taping or sticking on those SKU tags over the existing correct tag, and then just going to the checkout lane and then scanning them and walking right out.
The criminal complaint is focusing on the retail price of the boxes rather than how much all the individual cards could be worth, since trading cards can fluctuate in value. Moreno executed this scheme more than 24 times. Stephen Moreno stood before a judge yesterday. He was released on his own recognizance. He faces 2 felony shoplifting charges. Nick Siebel with the Silver City Daily Press shared with KRWG about a Grant County woman getting lost in the Gila wilderness for 2 days with her dog.
The woman's name Melissa Reed, 50-year-old, Grant County, and went with a friend to cut firewood up near Meadow Creek, north of Signal Peak, in the Gila National Forest. And they ended up getting crossways, and she decided she was going to walk back to town. Got a cell signal and called a friend to ask her to come pick her up, and sent her location. But unfortunately, her phone sent a location that was not accurate to where she actually was. So her friend and later those searching for her were looking in the wrong location. But it turns out that she was found after she started a campfire to keep her and her dog warm once things started to get chilly in the evening. The fire lookout saw that campfire, which didn't get fully put out, and sent firefighters to investigate. They discovered Melissa and ended up bringing her back to town safely.
A happy ending for what seems so oftentimes that these stories end up tragic. So glad to hear she and her pup are okay. Sports and weather are coming up next. You're listening to Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 60 matches for New Mexico volleyball today, including Hondo at Mountain Air, Alamo and Navajo at Carrizozo, Mescalero at Capitan, Redoso at the Institute, and Dexter at Tularosa. Go, Lady Cats! And Centennial heads to Alamogordo. Go, Lady Tigers! There's also 6 games for New Mexico football today, and that includes Socorro at Redoso and Estancia heads to Capitan. Your Crazy Radio spot on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies, winds gusting as high as 16 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 13, sunny skies tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 85, low tonight of 56, high tomorrow, 82 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies today, mostly clear tonight, sunny tomorrow. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 64, low tonight of 44. Wind chill's going to make it feel like it's 39, high tomorrow of 64 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.org, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, be sure to check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. Well, that concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.